Hello my lovelies, welcome to today's video. How are you? I hope you are well. Hi, I'm Victoria. If you are new here, we talk about cozy bookish things here and we do things at a slow cozy pace. So if that's your kind of thing, then maybe like, subscribe, stick around for a while. I would love it if you did. Welcome ramble over. We are here to discuss the books that I am most excited about in 2026. I actually can't believe that 2025 is coming to an end. It's mind-boggling and baffling to me, but it's happening. It is occurring. But with all of that being said, it means we have a whole bunch of new book releases that we can all get excited about, and I am excited for some of the books that are being released next year. In total, I think, if I've counted correctly, I should have 26 books that I want to share with you that I am personally very excited about. However, let me just get my handy dandy list up. Actually, no, I think it's more than 26. I can't quite remember. It's either 26 or it's 30. Something like that. But the first 10 that I'm going to mention, they're more the honourable mentions. And the reason why I call them honourable mentions is because all of the 2026 anticipated release videos that I've seen, near enough these books are mentioned in every single one of them, and I know so many people are hyped for these books, so I thought I would give them the love and attention that they clearly deserve. But for me personally, they're not on my like instant buy radar, but I still thought I would give them the attention and love that they clearly deserve. So let's just jump straight into it because we've got some books to talk about. First 10 books are the honourable mentions, and we are kicking off with The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. Now, this is the sequel to When the Moon Hatched, and that is on my radar to read. I do really want to read that book. It's just one of those books that I am intimidated by, and I know it's kind of like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. That does scare me a little bit, I can't lie, but I know so many people are so excited for this sequel, as they should be, and I think the covers of these books are gorgeous as well. That's coming out on the 28th of April. Next, we have Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This is coming out on the 14th of July. Again, I think this is the last book in the series. I think it's called like the Everflame series. I don't actually know. I haven't read any of them. But again, a lot of people are hyped. A lot of people are excited. So I thought I would just chuck this in there. Next, we have Abby Jimenez's new release, which is The Night We Met. And this is coming out on the 31st of March. I have yet to read an Abby Jimenez book. I know. Something I do, and this is not just with reading, this is with even like TV shows, movies, games. If there is something that has loads of hype around it, I tend to avoid it like the plague. Until the hype has died down, then I get into it, and then I buy it, read it, watch it, whatever. This is why I think these honourable mentions are honourable mentions, because they are extremely popular book series or authors that, you know, they're popular for a reason, I'm sure, but for some reason when something has loads of hype and attention, I just tend to get the ick by them. And unfortunately Abby Jimenez is one of those authors, but a lot of people seem really excited about this new book, as they should be. She's a very beloved author. Next, we have And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is the sequel to something. But again, very, very highly anticipated. A lot of people loved the first book. The first book, I can't remember what it's called, but I do really want to read it. I think each book is kind of like a retelling of classic rom-coms. I think the first one was You've Got Mail, and this one is Sleepless in Seattle. It's that kind of vibe, basically. The Now Back to You is coming out on the 24th of February. Carly Fortune's new release, that is coming out on the 5th of May, and that is Our Perfect Storm. Again, an author that is highly hyped, highly loved. I just haven't gotten around to reading any of her stuff, but maybe one day, Next, we have Light Wielder by Rachel Schneider. This is apparently coming out on the 9th of June. This is the follow-up to Metal Slinger, And this was one of those books that Emmy just got absolutely hyped. Like, Emmy said she loved it, everybody read it, everybody loved it. Apparently it has one of the craziest cliffhangers of all time ever, and I would love to get on that bandwagon and read it. So Light Wielder, it's kind of on my radar, but I haven't read the first book yet. But I would like to at some point. I'm just not bursting at the seams to read it. Do you know what I mean? Next, we have Elsie Silver's new series that she is releasing on the 19th of May with the first book, Fever Dream. Now, I've never read an Elsie Silver. Admittedly, I do kind of look, is it the Chestnut Spring series? Like, I always end up kind of picking up the book and kind of looking at it, and I kind of go to myself like, should I? Do I want to? Is this really my thing? And I just never end up picking it up and reading it. Maybe one day I will delve into the world of Elsie Silver, and maybe it will be with this new series, who knows. Okay, number 8, Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo. This is coming out on the 1st of September, and this is the 3rd book in her 9th House series. I haven't read Hellbent, I have read 9th House. This one is on the honourable mentions because I don't know if I will continue with the series. I know it's a very, very loved series. Like, Dark Academia girlies love this series. I did enjoy the first one. I'm not running to pick up Hellbent, which is the sequel, so I'm kind of not running to pick this one up either. Number 9, we have The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent, which is coming out on the 4th of August. Now, the reason this is in the honourable mentions is because you can probably spot them right there. I have only read The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I have only just stepped into the Crown of Nyaxia world, and this is like the first book of the last duology. So the Crown of Nyaxia series is broken into 3 duologies. The first 2 duologies are completed. This is the first book of the 3rd and final duology. So I've still got some decent reading to get through before I get to this one. And finally, in the honourable mentions, we have The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig, coming out also the 1st of September. This is the 2nd and final book in her new gothic fairy tale duology, the first one being The Knight and the Moth, The Moth and the Knight, The Knight and the Moth, which I really, really want to read, especially with the fact that I have now read One Dark Window and I'm currently reading Two Twisted Crowns. Rachel Gillig is a phenomenal author. She does gothic atmosphere extremely well, so The Knight and the Moth is high up on my want to read list, but I need to read that first before reading The Knave and the Moon. Okay, those were the honourable mentions that I felt like everybody is kind of currently talking about, and I just also wanted to give it a bit of airspace. But these next, I can't remember how many, 20 odd books, these are the ones that I am personally very excited about. And I do have a little bit of a mixture. And I also wanted to try and go for books that people aren't really talking about. So I wanted to try and, I don't know, put some things on your radar that you may not be aware of. So I will be, even though the 10 honourable mentions, I didn't do them in release order, I kind of just did them. These, I'm going to do them in release order, starting off with January. On January 1st, we have The Last King of Fairy by Cassandra Clare. Now, I feel like this kind of should have been in the honourable mentions. However, I am more likely to read this compared to the other ones because I would love to get back into my Cassandra Clare loving space. I reread City of Bones and City of Ashes and City of Glass last summer, I want to say, and thoroughly enjoyed my reread of them. And I really want to get back into the Shadowhunter world. And if I am remembering correctly, this is the first book in the last series that's going to be set in the Shadowhunters universe. So, Shadowhunter besties, it's time to rise. Those that have caught up with all the Shadowhunter books, get ready. Those that haven't, like myself, we have until the 1st of January, which it's not very long at all. I just feel like I am more likely to get around to reading the Shadowhunter books and then reading this one, but that is one that I think a lot of people will be excited for. I'm talking so quickly, I'm stumbling over what okay. Should we just take a second? Okay, let's continue. Next, on January 6th, we have The Swan's Daughter by Roshani Chokshi? This one, hang on. Some of these, because, okay, I am propped by my computer right now, just so you know, on my swivel chair. And with some of these, I have got Goodreads up, and I just want to read the description. Oh! Camera's gone. Camera's gone. Camera is gone. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So this is expected to come out, like I said, 6th of January. Okay, just listen to this. Prince Aris knows that marriage means murder. Thanks to a poorly worded wish to a sea witch, all one needs to rule the Isle of Malice is the heart and hand of the kingdom's heir. Historically, this has been construed quite literally. Thus, Aris expects that the day after his marriage and murder, he will wake up as a sentient tree alongside the rest of his predecessors. His only chance at a long life is finding true and lasting love. Aris cannot tell who is here out of love for him or lust for power until he meets Demelza. As a veritas swan, Demelza's song rings out the truth. Forced into hiding, Demelza strikes a deal. Aris will provide her with safekeeping in exchange for her truth-telling song to sort through his potential brides. While Aris is used to dodging death threats and Demelza is accustomed to fighting for her voice to be heard, to survive the tournament of brides requires a different kind of bravery. And perhaps the bravest thing one can do is not merely protect one's life, but find the courage to choose a life worth living. This just sounds just like a bit of me. The cover is also stunning. The tagline of this is a possibly doomed love story. That just sounds phenomenal, and I want it right now. Right now. Yeah, right now. I'm so sorry about the lighting. I am trying my best, but it gets dark at like 3:30 now, so there's only so much I can do. Okay, on the 22nd of January, we have The Saltbind by Rebecca Ferrier. Now, on a late August evening, Kenza comes across a dying sea monster under the light of a full moon. The first of its kind to grace the storm-torn shore of Ports Catho in centuries. It is an omen. For scarlet-haired Kenza, daughter of the most feared smuggler to ever roam the Cornish coast, her destiny is sealed as apprentice to the local wise woman. Under the guidance of Isolde, Kenza learns secrets of the old ways, the ancient magic that binds the land and sea. But when Isolde sickens, Kenza turns to the Bucker, the father of storms, a vengeful sea god chained to the ocean. Desperate to save her mentor, Kenza makes a deal with the deadly creature, a pact that risks everything she's sworn to protect. The fact that this is also kind of based on like the Cornish coast. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, and then finally in January, on the 29th, we have The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. This one sounds so interesting to me because the magic system in this is poetry. That sounds just so intriguing, really unique, and I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. From what I can remember, our main character basically, to save her family, becomes the concubine to the emperor or the prince. And he's not a very nice prince. We don't like this prince, but to protect and save her family, she becomes his concubine. For some reason, she then has to learn magic through poetry to kind of like, I think like protect or something along those lines. It just sounds really interesting, and I've got to admit again, it's the cover that caught my eye with this one. Okay, moving on to February. On February 10th, we have Super Nintendo How One Japanese Company Helped the World Have Fun by Keza McDonald. Now this is a non-fiction. Yes, we have a non-fiction, and it's not the only non-fiction, I'll warn you now. But as someone who has been a long lover of Nintendo, I am Nintendo through and through. My first personal console was the pink Nintendo DS Lite, and then I had a Nintendo Wii, and it's only just gone from there. If you watch my gaming channel, I play Switch games. Like, I am a Nintendo girly, and when I saw this, I was just so intrigued. And from what I was reading, the author has like interviews with people that work in Nintendo, and they basically discuss and uncover like why and how Nintendo has gotten as big as it has, and why we find such comfort in the games that they create. I'm just really excited about this, and the little Nintendo girly nerd in me just squealed when I saw this book was coming out. Okay, so next on the 12th, we have another non-fiction, and that is On the Future of Species, Authoring Life by Means of Artificial Biological Intelligence by Adrian Wolfson. Now this is a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I was very much intrigued by the premise of it. And if I am remembering correctly, how many times am I going to say that? The idea, so the author, I believe, is like the head or CEO of one of the biggest like geno organizations ever. He's basically talking about how we can create life through DNA and genotypes, and essentially abandon Darwin's theory when it comes to like natural selection and things. It just seemed quite intriguing to me, but like also kind of scary, but intrigued. So I don't know, it's one of those that I don't know if I'll pick it up right away, but it's on my radar because I am just curious to see how we would go about that. This next one, on the 17th of February, this is probably one of my most anticipated releases of 2026, and that is Heather Fawcett's new book, which is Agnes Orbert's Mystical Cat Shelter. Like, I don't think I really need to say more than that, but I will. Let me, if I'm remembering correctly, I think we have ourselves another HAL-coded character, which, yes please. Agnes Orbit leads a meticulously organised life, and she likes it that way. As the proudly Type A manager of a much-needed cat rescue charity, she has devoted her life to finding forever homes for lost cats. But after she is forced to move the cat shelter, Agnes learns that her new landlord is using her charity as a front for an internationally renowned and thoroughly disreputable magic shop owned by the disorganised, not to mention self-absorbed, irritating, but also decidedly handsome Havelock Renard, magician and failed Dark Lord. I'm like giggling already. The shop draws magical clientele from around the world, partly due to the quality of Havelock's illicit goods, as well as their curiosity about his shadowy past and rumours of his incredible powers. Agnes's charity offers the perfect cover for illegal magics. Agnes couldn't care less about the shop. Magical intrigue or not, there are cats to be rescued. But when an enemy from Havelock's past surfaces, the magic shop, and more importantly, the cat shelter, are suddenly in jeopardy. To save the shelter, will Agnes have to set aside her social conscience and protect the man who once tried to bring about the apocalypse and is now trying to steal her heart? Honestly, okay, hang on, let me try and see if I can get some more light. Has that done anything? I don't know. It just sounds so perfect, and it is giving Howler. It's giving Hal, it's giving Wendell. I feel like Heather Fawcett is a somewhat genius when it comes to writing these types of characters. That's coming out on February 17th, and I am extremely excited for it. Moving on to March. I think March is the one where I have the most releases for. So March is going to be a pretty busy month for me and my book buying. But on the 3rd, we have The Secret Lives of Murderers' Wives by Elizabeth Arnott. this really intrigued me because the concept of it is these three women who were wives of murderers, and they essentially band together to try and solve a string of killings that have started happening. I mean, that just sounds so fascinating to me, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Final Girl Support Club, I think it was called. I wasn't overly impressed by that book, but I really liked the premise of it. So I'm hoping this is gonna kind of fulfill that itch that I had with that book. On the 5th of March, we have another non-fiction, and it's called Ancient: Reviving the Woods That Made Britain by Luke Barley. Now, something that is really, really close and dear to my heart is the mass deforestation that has plagued Britain. Like, historically, we had rainforests here. Like, Wales would have just been rainforest, and we've just completely bulldozed it. I would love to be a part of the kind of reintroduction of woodlands and things, and when I saw this book coming out, it's just something that I have a genuine interest in. I have a lot of passion for it, so this is kind of a book that spoke to me, and I'm really excited to kind of see how it kind of handles this topic. And then another non-fiction in a similar kind of category. On the 12th, we have The New Eden: Wildlife in the City and Discovering Our Shared Home by J.C. Niala. So this one I am super intrigued by, again, due to the fact that the author, she grew up in, I forgot where it was, where was it? J.C. Niala grew up in the city of Nairobi, the only city with a national park in its borders. There she first encountered what life is like when a city is deeply intertwined with nature, and what happens when that relationship is in jeopardy. Through her experience of living in cities across the world, from London to San Francisco, anthropologist J.C. Niala is perfectly placed to offer a deep exploration into life in our cities. It's because of where we are with urbanization just skyrocketing at the rate that it is and has, the relationship between cities and nature, I think, is a interesting one. It's a damaged relationship, but I don't think it's one we should have complete loss of hope around, and I think this book is going to kind of tackle that. And again, the cover is beautiful. These covers that are coming out are just crazy beautiful. Okay, on the 24th, we have Daughter of Egypt by Marie Benedict. I am a sucker, okay, for the ancient world. And one of the ancient worlds that I wanted to dive into more is ancient Egypt. And this story is, I think it's historical fiction. Basically, we are following the discovery of Tutankhamun's grave, and within the party of people that discovered his tomb, there was a woman, a daughter of one of the main archaeologists, and essentially without her being part of the crew, they would not have discovered the tomb of the pharaoh Tutankhamun. So that is what this book is about. But I don't know if this is like fiction, or if this is based off of a real person. The discovery was made by Lord Carnarvon of Highclere Castle and his associate, famed archaeologist Howard Carter. What no one knows is that without the pioneering spirit of Lady Evelyn Herbert, Carnarvon's daughter, the tomb might never have been found. As a young woman, Evelyn was fascinated by the story of I know how to say this, but I don't. Hatshepsut, I'm going to put it up here. A woman who had to assume the guise of a man in order to rule Egypt. Although she brought peace and prosperity to Egypt, her male successors ruthlessly and thoroughly erased her name from history. Lady Evelyn's ambition to find the tomb of Egypt's first woman ruler exposes her to life-threatening danger and pits her against archaeologists who refuse to believe the tomb can be found, and certainly not by a woman. Refusing to give up, Evelyn is on the verge of success when she is suddenly forced to make an agonizing choice between loyalty to her beloved father and Carter and realizing the dream of a lifetime. So this is about her wanting to find Egypt's first female pharaoh's tomb. Oh my gosh. I watched a literal documentary about this woman and I cannot pronounce her name. I feel so bad. Basically, women in history basically being silenced by men. And the resurgence that we're getting of like this feminist light on women in history and the roles that they played. This sounds like a really lovely tale to follow. Don't know if it's based on true events or not. I need to look that up. Oh, this next one I am so excited about. On the 26th of March, we have The Adventures of Portly the Otter, Untold Tales from the Wind in the Willows by M.G. Leonard and Polly Dunbar. This just looks like a super cute, adorable, like, spin-off to The Wind in the Willows. Like, obviously it's not by Kenneth Grahame, who did the original story. When I just saw the cover, it just looked so cute. I love The Wind in the Willows. It's become one of my favourite kind of like children classics. To be able to kind of re-enter that world again through a different lens, it just excites me. It excited me, and I feel like this is going to be such a good read in the spring. Like, light-hearted, fun, cute illustrations, can't really ask for more. So moving on to April, which is my birthday month, we have got 4 books that I am excited about. 2 of them come out on the same day, but on the 7th we have American Fantasy by Enna Straub. Straub. This one, it just sounds like a really giggly fun time. If I'm remembering correctly, this is about a woman who goes on a boat cruise that has a pop boy band that she followed in her teens. But now she's like in her 30s, and I think her and her sister go on this cruise. And she's just surrounded by other like mid-30 women who were also obsessed with this boy band. And it's like I don't know, I can't think of the word. But basically it's about her on this cruise. I think she then meets one of the guys in the boy band that she loved. It's, from what I was reading, is essentially kind of a love letter to your younger years, and like when you just fall head over heels and obsessed with a boy band, a boy group. We've all been there, okay? We've all had a phase, we've all done it. And this just sounds like a really fun, giggly time regarding that. And it just looks fun. It looks like a good time. And we just need some light-hearted reads sometimes, okay? And this looks like that is exactly what it would be. Okay, so these next 2 are both coming out on the 21st. This first one, I'm so excited about, even though I've never read anything from this author. I fully intend to read something from this author. I'm so excited for this release. I don't understand it either. I don't get it either. But we have got, and I'm going to butcher this word, The Antiquarian's Object of Desire by India Holton. So this is part of the cozy academic series that she's doing. The first one, which I really want to read, is like The Ornithologist's Guide to Love or something like that. And then she released the second one, and this is the third one in that series. Like I said, I haven't read anything from India Holton, but I'm just really excited about this book. And it just sounds like a kind of unique twist. So from what I was gathering, I think our 2 main characters have to pretend to not like each other even though they're best friends. And they have to pretend to be rivals for some reason. I don't know, it sounded really intriguing, and a kind of a bit of a unique twist on like rivalries to lovers. So it's like best friends pretending to be rivals that turn into lovers. And then on the same day we have Thistlemarsh by Maria Corrigan. Now this one, let me just consult Goodreads. Let me just consult Goodreads really quickly. So again, firstly, the cover is what caught my eye. Stunning cover. This is a fantasy romance historical fiction. Welcome to Thistlemarsh, a ramshackle estate where an impoverished orphan and a beguiling fairy collide in an enchanting novel of love, revenge, and ruin. Yes, yes, yes! In the wake of World War I, the world is a decidedly unmagical place for Mouse Doon. She once dreamed of becoming a fairy anthropologist, but with one telegram, her world shattered. At the Battle of Somme, her cousin's body disappeared into the mud, and her brother was left with debilitating shell shock. It was time, she knew, to put aside childish dreams. When Mouse receives news that her uncle has left her the fairy-blessed Thistlemarsh Hall, a dilapidated manor in the English countryside, she must leave her brother's side and return to her childhood home to claim her birthright. But there is a catch in her uncle's will? I think there's a word missing there. If Mouse does not rehabilitate the crumbling house in 1 month's time, she will forfeit her inheritance and any hope of caring for her brother. It quickly becomes clear it's impossible to repair the manor in the allotted time, until a mysterious fairy appears with a proposition. He offers to restore Thistlemarsh for a price. Mouse knows better than to trust a fairy, especially one so insufferably handsome and arrogant. But she is out of options. There are dark and magical forces at work in the house, and Mouse must confront the ghosts of her past and the secrets of her heart, or lose Thistlemarsh and herself in the process. This is giving 10,000 Stitches. I loved 10,000 Stitches, and that's just giving me similar vibes, which I am here for. And the final book in April, on April 28th, is TJ Klune's new book, which is We Burned So Bright. Now, I've only read one TJ Klune, and that is The House of the Cerulean Sea. I loved it. It made me cry. It was brilliant. I fully intend to read more of his work, but this one stood out to me because it's following the plot of the world's going to end, so what are you going to do with your time? And it's following a married couple, these two men, who have been married, I think it's something like 40 years. And when they come to realise that the world is coming to an end, they have to travel from, I can't remember where, but they're basically going on a long journey. And this book follows them on this journey and the people they meet. And it's that very much like I said, you know the world's going to end, so what are you going to do with the time you have left? Do you have any regrets? Are there things you wish to do? Etc, etc. And I just know that TJ Klune is a master with emotional writing, so I feel like this is definitely going to be a bit of a hard hitter, but it just feels like it's going to be one of those books that I just need to read, you know? So I'm going to make sure I definitely have tissues close at hand though, because it sounds like it's going to be a tearjerker for sure. There is one book in May that I have on this list, on the 5th of May. And if you watch my videos regularly, if you know me, this will not be a surprise to you in the slightest, but we have Laurie Gilmore's next book, which is The Daisy Chain Flower Shop. I am already so excited for this book, even though I haven't met the main characters yet. I'm pretty sure we meet the main characters of this book, or at least the main character, in The Gingerbread Bakery, which I have yet to read. Laurie Gilmore is a auto-buy author. Ali Hazelwood and Laurie Gilmore, they are my auto-buy authors. They write my comfort books. If I need a book of just pure comfort, they are who I gravitate to. And the fact that the only Ali Hazelwood announcement we've had is 2 Can Play physical release and not another like actual full novel is kind of concerning and upsetting me, even though we know we will be getting one. But in the meantime, I will be clinging on to the fact that Laurie Gilmore is releasing The Daisy Chain Flower Shop. I am ready. I can't even remember like who it is that we're following. I don't know these characters, but I don't care, because anything this woman publishes, I will pick her up and I will read it. I will just give her my whole purse. Just take my card. There's not a lot on it, but you can have it. You can just take what I have at this point. I just love the woman and everything she releases. 3 books left, you guys, and we are on to July. July 7th, we are getting Every Version of You by Natalie Messier. I think this is a Reese's Lit Up book club pick. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I thought Reese Witherspoon just had the one book club, but maybe she has different types. I don't know. But the reason this caught my eye is because it says it's for fans of The Love of My Afterlife. I freaking loved that book. I read it in February and I was so pleasantly surprised by it. So if this is anything like that, I think I'm going to devour it. It also says fans of The 7 Year Slip. Ashley Poston is an author that I haven't read, but I really want to. I really want to. Okay, but that's a topic for another day. Anyway, so this is Natalie Messier's debut novel, Joey Vasquez. I'm so sorry. That looks like a Latina name that I'm totally butchering. I'm so sorry. Joey's life is the definition of good on paper. At 32, she's a Los Angeles lawyer on the cusp of making partner. But while she's a professional success, she's a personal disaster. Her social life mostly consists of nights spent watching TV with her elderly cat. Same, and I'm 26, so I'm ahead of the game with this. Cool, brilliant, love that. Life isn't quite what she dreamed when she was younger, but really, whose life is? But a dinner party with the best friend she secretly pined after for years, and its aftermath changes everything. When Joey is given a second chance at life, she finds herself in college again. Armed with memories from her first life, Joey is certain she's come back to finally convince the one man she ever loved to love her back. So why does she find herself strangely drawn to the man she thought she hated? Yeah. Sign me up. Sign me up. Yes. This sounds just beautiful. That's all I have to say. Time travel, magic realism, romance, women in her 30s. Next, in July, on July 28th, we have Theodora's Tea Shop by Christy Ann Jones. Now, Christy Ann Jones is a YouTuber that I have followed for years. I've watched her videos for years. She very much processed her writing journey. She's a author tuber / booktuber, and she has kind of documented her journey writing this book, this novel. And when she announced that it is getting traditionally published, she got picked up by a publisher and is getting trad published, it's like I know her. I was just so happy for her that I just know I'm going to need to support her and pick this book up. And it is being pitched as cozy fantasy, but the way she describes it is it's more of like a love letter to Howl's Moving Castle. Like, there are still some darker themes in it, but you can still have darker themes in cozy fantasy. I am so excited about this book, watching her journey, watching her write this book for years, and to now finally see that it's going to be published. I'm so excited. It sounds right up my street as well. I'm ready for her. I'm ready for her to have a trad published book. The last book I'm going to talk about today is being published, hopefully, on the 6th of August, and that is Sea of Charms by Sarah Beth Durst. Now, have I read anything by Sarah Beth Durst? No. I do have The Spell Shop that I intend to read very soon. The cover of this book just drew me in. Sarah Beth Durst. Sarah Beth Durst. Wow, she's written more books than I realised. The Queens of Renthia. Hello, what is this? I'm getting distracted. This is not... What am I looking for? She's written a fair few books. I was not aware of this. Were you guys aware of this? Were you aware that she has written a fair few books? Interesting. Huh. The Queens of Renthia looks really interesting. Oh my gosh, I'm getting distracted. This is not why. Okay, Sea of Charms, here we go. Sea of Charms, not charms. Charms. So this is being advertised as the third installment in the Spell Shop series, the second one being the Enchanted Greenhouse, the first one being the Spell Shop, but I think they're just interconnected standalones. I don't think you have to read them in order. Marin Marin is a supply runner with her own boat that she sails from island to island, delivering whatever anyone will pay her to deliver. Letters, flour, even the occasional enchanted lemur. Sure, love that. It's a lonely life, but it's hers, and she wouldn't trade the freedom of the sea for anything. Her only companion is a sea serpent, Perry, whom she saved from a fisher folk's net. One day, she sails to Elysium and discovers the city is on fire. There's been a revolution. Whoa, this took a turn! There's been a revolution and the empire has fallen. Marin, with Perry, begins transporting refugees, finding them new homes where they can start over. One such refugee is Dax, a composer who refuses to leave behind his instruments, no matter how much he tries to emphasize the gravity of the situation. Intrigued by his stubbornness, his passion for stories, and his charming smile, Marin discovers perhaps she isn't saving him, but maybe it's the other way around. Yes, that is going to be the read of the summer. I love me, like, I know this isn't pirate, but like a ship, water, sailing boat atmosphere during the summer. I just think it is just the perfect time of year to read those kinds of books. So this being released on the 28th of July, beautiful. Okay, I'm so sorry that the lighting got worse and worse throughout this video. Like I said, it gets dark by 3:30 and it is like 20 to 4 now. Yeah, it's 3:33 in the afternoon and we are losing light very rapidly. So I do apologise for that, but those are the 26, 30 odd books that I am excited for in the year of 2026. I hope I was able to bring some books to your attention that you weren't aware of. I know that probably won't be the case for all of them, but I did just want to bring forward some books that I didn't want to just bring like the popular books to your attention, you know, especially if they're not ones that I'm actually going to read. I chose the ones that I think there is a possibility that I will read them at some point, but my main list are books that I am very excited about, will most likely pick all of these books up at some point in the year. I'm really excited. It looks like we've got a good year ahead of us. I'm also aware that my personal book list anticipated releases stopped in August. I haven't looked into the second half of the year, and usually in the second half of the year those don't really get announced until the year has actually started. But if there are any books that I haven't mentioned that you think I would like, or that just you're excited about that's being released next year, please let me know in the comments below. I love discovering new books, new authors, the whole shebang, so let's discover them together. And yeah, I really hope you are having a great end to 2025. I'm sure there are a couple of more books that are going to be released in the next couple of weeks that people are excited about, but I just thought, you know, let's just get excited for the next year, because we have got some exciting books coming out that even from the get-go, from January 1st, we have got some good uns. We've got some good eggs and I'm excited for them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you if you watched this whole thing. I hope you have taken away some books to add onto your TBR. And yeah, let's just get hyped for a great reading year. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!